Good afternoon, everyone. Our session's topic is strategic foresight and design thinking in the age of augmented intelligence. Put your hands together for our speaker, Dr. S. Vijayakumar Bharathi, Professor, Symbiosis Center for Information Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much. So again, very formally, a very good morning to all of you. Thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful occasion, a true mela of a global order. And I'm extremely thankful and honored to be before you. Thanks to the organizers of GFF for inviting me to discuss together on a very interesting topic that I always research and practice on. So as you know, I am from the Symbiosis Center for Information Technology, which is based out of the Hinjawadi Pune IT Infotech Park in Pune. I've been there for the last 18 years, before which I was in SP Jain Institute of Management Research, and before that I was in an industry which manufactured textile machineries. I was a part of the cost accounting team. Right. So over the last 20 plus years, I have been into SAP teaching and research curriculum, where we develop curriculums for the Asia Pacific, Japan, and China region, and also test the curriculums on various levels of SAP. So that's it. And I also teach design thinking over the last 7 years, being certified by SAP Labs Shanghai and, of course, the Incheon Stanford Labs of design thinking. So let us collect together. And I want it to be a very, very participative session. I have some activities for you. I am sure there will be an overwhelming response in terms of how you contribute. And I am here for a mutual value-added learning here. So, without any more delay, let me go to this strategic foresight and design thinking in the age of augmented intelligence. Being a teacher, I am looking at it like a PhD thesis. Right. Or it is a master level thesis as to what this is going to be. Right. So, any idea? Any idea what is this strategic foresight, design thinking, augmented intelligence? By far, the best I know is augmented intelligence is one of the themes for this particular global Fintech Fest. Okay, so I'm very glad that I got this particular third construct of our presentation. Yeah, this is what you are all wondering. First of all, I need to share with you. Okay, if it is not so, please, you have it here. So we will be talking about setting the context of why we are going to put together these three constructs. What are the foundations of strategic foresight? Then we will be moving into design thinking principles. Then finally, blending all into augmented intelligence. Then what are we going to take away from here? Okay, I'm going to take away a lot from you, and I also wish and expect that it would enable you to get some learnings out of this 42.15 minutes. Right. Okay, so let's start with a small debate. As it peeps out, can we divide the entire team into two? And then start. Group A. Who want to be part of Group A? I want to be a part of Group A. Group B? Oh my God, so many. Then I think, I'll also go to Group B. No, let me be in Group A, because that was my first choice. So, AI will augment, not replace, human decision making. But there were few of us who said, we will have avatars. We will have agents. Okay? No me. No me. Right. So, let's start with our perspective. Why do we say that AI is going to replace most human decisions?
Okay, because anything that was previously manually done by a human can now be, replaced by AI, right? So at least the manual part of that will be replaced.
So manual will be replaced by AI, right? So I also support, because there are several times that we think of something and we open YouTube, that comes there. I don't know how many of you have experienced, especially when it comes to horror movies. I have experienced. I used to think that we will watch some clippings of horror. And when I open YouTube, the first one is Evil Dead. Right. So, you were a part of our team, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes. So basically, I do have different opinion. AI may or may not. Why I'll tell you, because there are some things. For example, if there are things which are system related, or which are maybe formula based or something that AI can do, but when it comes to critical thinking, may there human intervention is required. For example, maybe Indian folk art, for say. So AI never can be, they can't reach there. Okay, so because human intervention.
So there are certain things which are innate to humans. Okay, right. Emotions for that matter. I don't know how many of you saw this WhatsApp going on. Okay. Who said AI doesn't have emotions? And the interaction goes, hey Google, what is 3 plus 4? Google says, it's 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Right. Then immediately the gentleman says, my wife says it is 3 plus 2 is 8. Then immediately Google says, okay, right. It might be, she must be joking. You can ask again, once again. Okay, she may be loving you so much, that's why she's saying so. Then the gentleman says, no, no, no. She argued and said, 3 plus 4 is equal to 8. So immediately Google says, for all reasons of harmony and peace and your physical safety, let 3 plus 4 be 8. Right. So there are certain things which we can expect that Google can take over. This is an example. Google is just an example. There are several AIs. You have Meta. You just try to give in Meta, hey, I am feeling so low. Okay. See how the keywords are brought in. So absolutely. So now let us listen to, it will not replace human decision making. Somebody is so strong. Yes, yes, yes. One or two and then we'll move on.
So if I'm talking in the context of fintech, India is a country of 1.2, 1.4 billion people, 1.4 billion people, right? Most of those come from rural areas. Either A, they may not have phones, they may not have access to smartphones. The second thing also could be that AI will make processes easier to make transactions, payments, systems, all of that. But to convince another human being, especially that someone that is not educated, that someone that doesn't know enough about AI would not be something that would be easy.
So there is a need for human intervention. But where, how, when, on what, etc. becomes a big challenge.
So I will put, when we take a decision, the decisions are different type of decisions. So the small decision is which type of bread I need to buy tomorrow. That is very small decision. Sometimes the big decisions are which car I should buy, which SUV should I buy. So for all type of decisions, we need some data and we need some information. So what AI will do, AI will help us in getting those data, information, identify the insights from this data, and then human will take decision what I want to do. I think.
Yeah. So wonderful. You all deserve a big hand from me. Yeah, you. Yes. Right. Why did we do this? Why did we do this? Because it surfaces strategic as well as ethical decisions between automation and augmentation. I don't know whether you realized when you said, okay, that there is a need for human. Okay, right. So what does responsible AI talk from a human perspective who is intervening at a particular place when this particular automation is on? Okay, so can AI bring ethics by itself, or it has to be infused by humans? If so, on what, why? We will discuss it later on. Look at the system now. You can see here, everything everywhere. You can see this particular picture. It talks about 3 levels. At the lowest, you have information technology, correct? And then you have financial services. then you have real economy value processes, line of business. You may say it is supply chain, you may say it is procurement, you may say it is HR, you may say it is financial processes, etc. So you can see, look at this bouquet. Okay, and you can see there are several information technologies which are taking us from centralized to decentralized. DeFi, centralized, decentralized finance. Several new concepts have come over the last 1 year, which we haven't imagined. Is there a possibility that we have a decentralized finance environment where I and he believes when a transaction is carried out? I am still to take that. But there are prototypes happening. There are some areas where it is slowly tested even, correct? Right. So that way you will find several of these. Then generative AI. I belong to a university and my students write assignments. I don't have to say that. You all knew it, what it is. They write assignments much better than any Briton, any Australian, okay, any Tamil guy, any Malayalam guy. Okay, right. Which way you want to write, I will write it for you. Okay. Beyond ChatGPT, there is so much of humanization that is happening. Okay, right. Where ChatGPT and other plagiarism checking softwares have given up. Chodo, kya karna hai kar do. Okay, right. I tested with prompting. Now you are not going to write answers, you are going to give questions. I want the prompt in about 20-30 words. Assume yourself as a supply chain analyst and then bring out ABCD, EFGH model in machine learning, ensemble and deep learning. The prompting was also done by ChatGPT. What will I do? So that's the era we are. So generative AI, and slowly we are stepping into agentic AI. So which means the assignment will be done by agentic AI and it will be submitted to me on behalf of the student. Fine. So I will take another avatar and I will evaluate it and give it. Me and the students will go for a beer. Fine. That's all is going to happen. So we have been so much enforced by these. Correct? As long as generative AI is your PA, you survive. If the vice versa happens, finished. PA means personal assistant. Correct? Right. We know. But the youngsters, they are overwhelmed by the way in which the answer is so structured. Control C, Control V. 2 times a student, same student, wrote entirely Control C. And in the last line it was, do you want me to do? Do you want me to do? Make it a PowerPoint presentation and give it to me? I was thinking, oh, that's a better idea. I gave 0 and said, please do that as well so that I can give you 5 marks out of 10. Yes. So that's how we are in that era. So you can see there is no surprises in terms of all this happening. Right. Now with this context, we don't have any problem. Why now? Why not yesterday? Why not day after tomorrow? Is a big question, right? And the theme for this 6th season of this GFF is so apt. Correct? We're not just talking about AI. Okay, AI is known over the last 50 years. Correct? Right. Many of you are younger than AI in terms of age. But today, why? Yes, the generative capability and the autonomous capability of these are really shaking the way in which we think and act and perform. Am I right? Isn't it? Yeah, we all know. 2 years before, I had written paragraphs after paragraphs for a submission to an international journal, only to get rejected. Today, my effort is only 1/10. 90% is done in paraphrasing. Okay, still sometimes it gets rejected. I don't know, there is a generative AI reviewer and editor-in-chief sitting there. Who knows? Okay, right. So, the rise of AI and augmented intelligence. This you know. Anywhere you go and search regulatory implications on Fintech, it is very complex. Multiple bodies are there to see multiple dimensions of how they can enhance your and my experience. Not in Pune, not in Mumbai, but in Jalgaon. Okay? But in a small town across the arid zones of Maharashtra or Rajasthan or interior northwest India. Correct? Right. So, regulatory bodies are struggling in terms of trying to make a consensus. Yes. Hence, it is important. Yeah. I don't have to escape this. Wherever you talk, there is ESG. Environment, social, and governance perspective. Yesterday, our Honorable Finance Minister put a wonderful point. While she complimented AI and its prowess, she said the caveat is it is going to generate a lot of, it needs more power, okay? And if the power is not renewable energy based, okay, that's what I meant, it is going to harm your environment. So it will contribute more to GHG, greenhouse gases. So we need carbon footprints KPIs to be evolving till such time you are convinced that there is something that we can show in our sustainability reporting. Today you take Wipro's report, 272 pages. It is as big as an annual report. I know you all know what is an annual report, right? So it becomes extremely challenging. What are they going to report? They are going to report what are the initiatives that they have taken in relevance to United Nations sustainability goals, the targets in each one of them, and how they have contributed in positively or neutrally implementing your ESG and sustainability. So this is another area which we have to really be serious about. This is always perennial. While we are talking about protocols, we are talking about multi-factor authentication. Okay, just to people in the next room, there is a set of hackers who are creating more vulnerabilities than we think. Not a single day goes without thousands of vulnerabilities coming in. So cybersecurity and digital trust is another very important area. Then of course, you and me are the most, horrible creatures. We keep on changing our expectations, as a result of which it becomes so difficult. How many of you in the recent past went to the shop and bought something? I did not. In the last 6 months. I did like this. He came. Sometimes he rang the bell. Sometimes he quietly dropped it in the bag that I have kept. Okay, right. Suddenly I saw my wife in the kitchen and then I said like this. Blinkit said, do you want something? Once again you do it both, I'll bring it. So this is what we are in, correct? Have we all experienced this? Day in and day out we are experiencing, correct? And the next level is, from mobile commerce, we are moving to Q-commerce, quick commerce, right? Now the next step is V-commerce. Any clue? Absolutely, give him a big hand. Correct. So, voice commerce. What does voice commerce do? Making you more exposed from the kitchen to the hall, to the Blinkit, and to several bodies across the world. Yeah, I put oil in the kadai, and when it is heating up slowly, I found there is no rai, there is no channa. What should I do? Hey Google. Yes, by the time it starts to, I don't have to even sim it, ting tong, rai will come. That's the next level that we are moving. So customer expectations are changing so widely, irrespective of the demography, irrespective of the age. Fine. So, what is strategic foresight? So I have got two definitions for you. One is taken from OECD. What is OECD? Economic Cooperation and Development. Organization of the Economic Cooperation and Development. And BCG, you know. Boston Consulting Group. What's so famous about BCG? BCG matrix. Yes, we always are dogs. Problem sales. Okay, right. We are stars. There are several stars in the making when you go there. So we have. Stars are the ones who have heavy investment at the same time, very heavy returns. Dogs are the ones who are problematic. Okay, I don't know why they kept dogs. Being a dog lover, I cannot accept. Okay, that anyway. So please go ahead. A systematic and scientific approach. Okay, to find out what could be the plausible future for our product, for our service, or for our organization, or for our experience. Right. So that we can anticipate or predict and then be prepared for the change. So this is one. You can go through the bold letters. So analysis of plausible futures, right? Capacity to anticipate alternative futures and ability to imagine what all will happen in the future. After COVID, it's so futuristic. Am I right? Everything is futuristic. So what are we going to expect in the future? Future means what? 2060? What is future? 2030? Yes. 2035? Yes. 2040? Maybe. Beyond that, I don't know. Okay. So that's how we are envisaging the future. So you can see. Similarly, corroborative definition is what you have in BCG. Anticipate, analyze, adapt to, and shape the factors relevant for a company's business, which can be better and before competitors. That's the next one, right? And what do? We make a marriage of what? Cutting edge analytics and proven creative tools and AI. So all these will make a strategic foresight. Right. Now, quickly I'll run through what is the process of a strategic foresight. So how do you make a strategic foresight process? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Just a wild guess. So you have decide where to look. Decide where to look. Did Uber did that 10 years back? Did Ola did it 10 years back? They looked at India as a mass market. Okay, we had at that time slowly evolving and getting more excited about call taxis. Call taxi, CALLTAXI. Call taxi. What does call taxi had? It had given a number. Fast track call taxi Chennai. 4,000 cabs ran. 7,000 cabs ran. Okay. 22334455. What is that? The number. Okay. Even if you finger it wrongly, it will go there. To that extent. Right. Then they had a walkie-talkie and then they will immediately say, hum aa rahe hain. And you were so, attached with the ambassador cards. Okay. Many of them were ambassador cards. And suddenly when you are moving, suddenly there will be a voice call coming. Hey, where are you? What is happening? I was scared first time. I thought some police control has intruded. Information security. Then I said, why, Anna, what is happening? He said, no, don't worry. It is nothing but our headquarters is talking to somebody else. So somebody else, whatever is being talked, is heard by everybody else. So that's how it is. Then Uber looked. Yes, this is where we have a long future in India. Not just 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. We can enjoy monopoly in the car, call taxi market. The rest is history. Correct? Right. Then, understand what to look for. Where to look for is fine. What to look for? What are those areas? Yeah, Jet Airways was a fantastic business model. With all due respects. When they came into the market. Correct? Right. Jet Airways as an entity was fantastic. I'm not going to say why it failed, who failed it, okay, etc., etc. We all know it. Why did Jet Airways capitalize on the market share of Indian aviation? Any idea? Before that, who were there? Customer experience, very good. What is the customer experience? Delays, cancellations, rescheduling. Delays, cancellation, rescheduling. Repeat, delays, cancellation, rescheduling. Is that called customer experience? No, we want on-time departures. We at least want near on-time departures. We at least want to know if you will not depart, please say to us. Not just before you depart and decide not to depart. Correct? You tell to us in advance, so we plan. All these things, they made it possible. On-time arrivals, on-time departures, where a whooping 90+%, which was never heard about in the previous market. Again, I won't say who was in the previous market. You all know. Correct? Yes. So that way you will find that strategic foresight is not a one man's job. Okay? You need to actually be a visionary to look at what is going to be impacted. McD, for that matter, McDonald's, they were analyzing India's market because India's market was extremely diversified. There is no single breakfast. Am I right? Correct. I will go to Ludhiana and search for idli and chutney sambar. Do I do it or not? If I don't get it, then I will either Jai Bhagwan and then I will fast. Or else I will go and have something. The same way, somebody comes from there to here, we are all foreigners in different states. Correct? So our eating patterns and everything is completely different. So it becomes very difficult for a McD-like organization coming from a much more standardized, mundane, less option market to India. So they made a lot. So this is the next one. Then signals, separate signals from noise. What do you mean by separating signals from noise? Noise is when we all start to shout. Signals mean there is something that is wanted, but they don't have. Correct? Right. So the mother knows the difference between the noise and the signal of a child. For the father, it is only noise. Arey, thoda kuch karo na. Please ask her to keep quiet. Okay, she has an inbuilt mic God has given. So the moment she opens, everybody stops. Please do something. So she knows. So that's the objective of a company when it looks at strategic foresight. It should be able to differentiate between noise and signals. Then interpret the signals. You will interpret the signals both with intuition as well as insights. Insights come from analytics. Right? So, then determine what to do with what you have found. So, we have several examples of success as what they did and why they become disruption. Have you heard the term disruptive innovation? What do you mean by that? Disruptive innovation. Disruption? Yes, we know. Innovation, we know. What do you mean by disruptive innovation? Altogether a new idea. Very good.
Yeah, Amazon itself is an example.
Amazon is a classic
Bookstore,
example. Right, very good. Replacing the old technology in such a way that, I'll come to that later on. Yes, please.
Bringing in new customer experiences. Like earlier, we used to go to Kirana store. Now we do quick commerce, right? So it's a new, yeah.
Kirana stores comes to us. Very good.
Something that would not be regular to what the people want, and people may not accept it immediately, but they will accept it few years down the line.
So that, now I am going to ask, please uninstall WhatsApp. How many of you are ready? I am not ready, I am putting it inside. No, by subconsciously, what if I do like this? No. He says uninstall, he will uninstall WhatsApp. Uninstall PhonePe. Because COVID is gone, denomination is over, okay, everything is over, I have currency is fine. So, how many of you will do it? Why you won't do it? Because I cannot go back to the original state. It has disrupted so much my life, henceforth it will be either like this or worse than this or better than this. Right, sir? So, a disruptive innovation is what we try to foresee in the future. I don't know what the disruptions are in store for us. So, all these are some examples that you get. Right. Now, what are the strategies or methods and characteristics? I'll show you a table and I will not discuss too much on this. You can see here, there are several techniques. I don't know whether some of the companies are using them at their strategic level, especially in a long-term project level. Okay, right. So some companies like Wipro and Cognizant with whom we interact have some traces of what they do. For example, they do causal layered analysis, then cross-impact analysis, Delphi techniques. Have you heard about Delphi techniques? Consensus-based group decision-making, right? Then future wheel, road mapping, 3 horizons, okay? Then scenario planning. Scenario planning, 3 horizons, Delphi techniques are some of the very popular techniques of brainstorming that enables corporates to envision what can be done if this is the need, if this is the want, but they don't have it. So that way you will find. And there are 4 in the temporal zone. I have given quantitative, qualitative, normative, and explorative. Quantitative and qualitative, you know. When I do an empirical survey, asking you responses. Okay, I'll collect 1,000 responses. I do a quantitative empirical study. Instead, I'll go and ask this ma'am, this sir, you, and I will interview you. And then take out all your interview transcripts with due permission, and then I'll convert it into some themes that can emerge out of the interviews. Qualitative study. Right. Dharavi. How far is it, Dharavi, from here? 20 minutes? So if you walk fast, you will reach in 45 minutes, right? Yeah. Because many times in Mumbai and Pune, it is better to walk. In Bangalore, you can crawl. But still you will be faster than a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Okay? Waiting between Marathahalli and going to Malleshwaram. Right. Any Bangalore? Yes, yes. Hope I have nailed it correct. Yeah, I have been enjoyed it. So I know how enjoyable it is. Right. So going by that, why am I giving this example? Dharavi. What do you know about Dharavi? Slum. No, it is one of the biggest business models. No, I'm not joking. Are you with me? Right. So they all have strategic foresight, but they haven't used as it is given here from a research. Okay? What are the business models that thrive across different decades? Leather bags, tannery, yes. And? Correct, right. That's service model, fantastic service model. Then, third one, white shirts. Dharavi, white shirts? Doesn't it look like oxymoron? But white shirts. Master tailors are there, generations after generations. Recycling of plastics. Okay, you will find a small, this big a bucket, to a bucket in which you can immerse and then get submerged. To that extent they have recycled plastics. A whooping 10,000 crore plus is the annual turnover of, somebody said slum. Okay, right. And it is not a slum. It had the lowest COVID infection rates. I'm not joking, please look at the status. It had the lowest. So, do we call it as a slum? No, my society was quarantined 4 times. Fortunately, not because of me. Quarantine. Pimpri, Chinchwad, Mahanagar, Palika. This society is quarantined. So, don't come inside, don't go outside. Finished. But Dharavi was not quarantined. I don't see a big board. Right? So, there are thriving models that you do. So, go and study. What should be the way in which Dharavi progresses? People from Yale University, people from Stanford come and sit there and do a phenomenological study of living in the group. And then trying to find out, camouflaging into the mainstream of the business and try to find out what is that differentiates in spite of the substandard living conditions that we call it as a slum. Okay, so these types. Then exploratory. Exploratory researches are also done. I want to know what is actually happening in Nigerian slums, even worse than Dharavi. But poverty tourism flourishes. Can there be something called poverty tourism? Crazy terms that the market is bringing to make money. Poverty tourism, just give it in the Google, you'll find. It is going and living a couple of days in such substandard condition. Who does it? Somebody from Sweden will do, somebody from Finland will do. TK, I will go and find out how it is. There are agents who do this for us. So that way you will find several of these techniques. Now, so causal layered analysis talks about something that is ability to transformate. So you find out the cause, like that you go on and find out. Then you have cross impact. A1, A2, A3, A4. A1, A2, A3, A4. Okay. How A2 is impacting A1. A1 is impacting A2. Substitute A2 with cause in a context. Okay. So cross impact analysis. Then of course Delphi technique, as we know. It is a structured iterative process of interviewing experts and gathering feedback. A very good qualitative study. Then futures wheel. It's a brainstorming session where you visualize direct and indirect consequences of a phenomenon. What is a direct consequence and an indirect consequence? Right. So that way you do it. Then you will find road mapping. Yes. I still remember roadmaps are the big businesses for consulting firms. Okay. In the first experience of my cost accounts officer in a textile machinery manufacturing firm, our turnover was at that particular year, first year of our existence, was 53 lakhs. 5.3 million rupees, 1993. My first experience. First year I spent there. Then suddenly they wanted to introduce enterprise systems. Enterprise systems. Since ours was an Indo-Swiss joint venture company, they invited Boston Consulting Group from Delhi. BCG came. Wow. And then we could see a lot of, foreigners and, yes. And our heads, CXOs were all going. Right. After that, since I was in the accounts department, they gave a roadmap. Okay. quotation for roadmap. The quotation for roadmap was 5.6 million. What is our turnover? 5.3 million. Yes, but if you see the roadmap, that is the roadmap. What is the roadmap? They gave us a strategic foresight for Ritter LMW Machinery Limited to implement, analyze, appreciate, and achieve what you will get in terms of productivity over the next 5 to 10 years. Because 5 years we had the tax SOPs, because we were 100% export-oriented unit, as a result of which they gave us a lot of tax advantages. That was valid till 10 years. So by the time you become a fully export-oriented unit, this will be your productivity, a fantastic roadmap. Roadmap analysis. 3 horizons. Look at this. Horizon 1 is current business. I think as a manager in my company, what is it that I am going to do in order to enhance my customers' experience using mobile? What functionalities and features are currently available as is? That's the manager's job. Then you look at what can be newly done. Intrapreneurship. Have you heard the word intrapreneurship? INTRA? Intra. So intrapreneurship. So that way. And then the third one you see is like a visionary. So from manager to intrapreneurship to visionary is another technique. Then comes scenario planning. So this is overall a set of techniques across different research. Right. Now comes to design thinking. These are the 3 musketeers who talked about design thinking. Any idea? I know some of you must have connected with this term design thinking. Anyone quickly? User to? Yes. Okay. Right. Right. So that's the overall understanding. Fine. Very good. So let us connect with that, what you said, for design thinking. It's a human-centered approach, which has got something to do with innovation. It has got 3 things: the needs of the people, the possibilities of technology, and the viability of doing it as a business. If all the 3 comes together, then you say it is a human-centric approach to innovation. What is this?
When companies set strategy, they often stumble. Either they collect a lot of backward-looking data, which doesn't tell them what future customers really want, or they make risky bets based on instinct instead of evidence. Design thinking is a strategy-making process that avoids these mistakes by applying tools from the world of design and shifting the focus to human behavior. Popularized by David M. Kelly and Tim Brown of IDEO and Roger Martin of the Rotman School, design thinking has 3 major stages. First, invent a future. Form a few theories about what customers might want but don't have by immersing yourself in their lives. Instead of polling them about specific products or services, observe and ask questions about their behavior. Next, test your ideas out. Use iterative prototyping with good enough products or services and conduct a few quick experiments to see how consumers respond. Adjust the product, the pricing, or the positioning accordingly. Finally, bring the new product or service to life. When you've got a winner, identify the activities, capabilities, and resources your company will need to actually produce, distribute, and sell it. For example, when senior managers at Procter & Gamble wanted to turn around the skincare brand Oil of Olay, they began by observing shoppers in both mass retail channels and high-end department stores. They realized that their industry had been primarily targeting women over 50 who were worried about wrinkles, while pretty much ignoring those in their 30s and 40s who were concerned about other issues. This was a huge market to be captured. So P&G experimented with new formulations that would tackle multiple skincare goals, then tested different prototypes, price points, and store displays. Finally, the company launched a series of new premium, yet broadly distributed products that were well received by a wide range of consumers. By using imaginative, human-centered problem-solving, design thinking can help you unlock new markets and identify new strategies.
It's a quick snapshot of what we mean by a human-centric approach. Right. So you can see there Desirability. Desirability means human wants, but they don't have. Viability. Is there a possibility of converting it to a business? We are not talking about a philanthropic venture or an NGO, okay, which is non-profit, etc., etc. We have to always, depend on funds from any missionary or from anywhere else. No. Is it viable to become a business model? Then, is it feasible to use technology? Yes. Technology doesn't necessarily mean only data science and information technology. It can be any technology that it comes to your mind. Okay, right. So give me an example where all the three were there. It is needed, it is wanted, but it did not. So we got it. Huh? iPod was a classic example that time, right? Wow. In fact, Netflix is one of the fantastic case studies of design thinking. Okay, right. So Netflix is a classic example. Mass customization, hyper customization, right? Which were wanted but did not have. So many. Okay, Ubers and Olas are of course examples. Airbnb is a classic example. Okay, right. So that way. UPI is a hyper classic example that we have in our country. Right. Is there anything that you find ये दोनों है लेकिन वो viability नहीं है? ये दोनों है लेकिन it was not desirable for humans. We did not want. When Lalu Prasad Yadav was railway minister, railways was fantastic. He suddenly brought in Garib Rath with middle side berth. I am comfortable. I am just 5'7". But if somebody is 6, what will happen? You will have to coil yourself. And then you have to roll down and then go. It's a fantastic business model. Technology is there, easy. You have to just leave it to ICF for some time or Kapurthala and they will make all the required changes. But is it viable? Yeah, viable, horribly viable as a business model. But is it desirable? No. SpaceX, Elon Musk. You now find out what it is. Yes. So design thinking process that you find. We source it from the design school Stanford. So first one is to empathize. Then we define. Whom do we empathize? We empathize a persona. A person. Yesterday there were personas that were shown. And even if you go to our booths, several booths talk to you on the demo by using a persona. Who is a persona? Can I be a persona? Of course I am a persona. Okay. Can you be a persona? Yes, you can be a persona. Can you be a persona? Yes. Anybody here can be a persona. So, Procter & Gamble, when they researched on oil of Olay, they thought that we are only targeting above 50. So, they personified after several rounds of interview across different markets and came out with a persona who is a 30 to 40-year-old corporate lady. So she is more connected, networked, and she is more social. And she has to present herself. So we cannot wait till she gets wrinkles. Before that, let us connect with the brand. The rest is history. So you find empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Okay? Right. So I will quickly show this and then we will move on.
Millions of women across rural India suffer from life-threatening diseases. Most of these cases are linked to an iodine deficiency. Supplements exist, but women couldn't afford any. So how do you help them? Almost every Indian woman wears a bindi. Introducing the life-saving dot, Jeevan Bindi. An idea that transformed bindis into iodine patches. Women require a daily dosage of iodine. During the day, these bindis dispense that amount to the wearer. These life-saving dots were distributed through medical camps across rural India. In a nation of 500 million women, bindis were no longer just a symbol of beauty. They now spelt the difference between life and death. The life-saving dot, Jeevan Bindi.
Fantastic, right? See the way they connect. So it's a cultural design. Bindi is not a modern design of a small dot. It's woven with culture. All Sumangalis will wear bindi. If there is no bindi, then it has got some other reason. Still, there is a lot of belief that way when you go to rural India. Am I right or wrong? And rural women suffer from this. So they capitalized on this design thinking from a philosophical standpoint. Why it's philosophy? Because we believe bindi is a mark of a woman. Right. So that way. Now, quickly we can, can you give me one imaginative financial news headline? In 2035. The financial news is about money on call and short notice. No, we have it. But this money is go to the ATM or go to the phone and say, I want 500 rupees. Or I want to transfer $10 from Bharathi to Neelakandan. Right. Vice versa. $100 from him. Okay. Right.
Last bank branch in India shuts down today.
Wow. Give him a big hand. The last branch of a bank in India shuts down today, referring to post office and telegram. But post offices still refurnished themselves. India Post, Indian supermarket, right? So that way you will find. So this I will skip and go to augmented. Last part, maybe a minute or so, I will then. So what do you mean by augmented intelligence? The word augmented, what comes to your mind? Augmenting means? Facilitating, yes, augmented intelligence. All right. So you can see here, we are not interested in substituting human beings. We are interested in facilitating the human beings to enhance their service and productivity. So that's where augmented intelligence comes. A simple example is autopilot versus pilot. The pilot will come when he is flying from Mumbai to Sydney. Right. And what happens? He comes autopilot, but while landing and taking off? Absolutely. So that's a classic example of augmented intelligence. So you can see here, humans in the loop vis-a-vis humans on the loop. So in the loop is a classic example of this. Fine. So these are some of the terms that are very, very conceptual. You can see here. We were talking about since yesterday how much of human responsibility, who will take responsibility, etc. And finally, I wanted this. You can practice this. This is the last slide. I want this to be taken by you. It's a 6 thinking hat based methodology. Edward D. Bono's 6 thinking hats of brainstorming. So those from corporates, I know everybody is from corporate. You can use it for a brainstorming session. Okay, using all these 6 thinking hats. Right. These are the references. It will be available through the conference and you can use it as much as you want. And if you think you got something from here and we can collaborate for a future opportunity, absolutely fantastic. Okay. So thank you very much for a very active participation. Okay. And as a teacher, we don't stick on to time. I almost shot by 2-3 minutes. Apologies for that. But thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all.